Southeast Radio's Business Matters with Karl Fitzpatrick.
Southeast Radio.
Good morning, I'm Karl Fitzpatrick and welcome to Business Matters. Well, on Wednesday, November 13th, Wexford will host a Run in the Dark event in aid of the Mark Pollock Trust. Here to tell us more about the work of the Mark Pollock Trust and how you can support this fundraiser is the organisation's CEO, Paula Cunniffe. Paula, maybe you could start the interview by reminding us about Mark's extraordinary story.
Sure. So Mark Pollock is from Northern Ireland and he went blind in one eye as a child, and then at age 20 he was about to finish college, moved to London to start his career, and he went blind in his second eye and then really spent the next 10 years rebuilding his identity. So he was really involved in rowing when he could see, and he continued to row after he went blind, then started taking on mad adventures, the Everest Base Camp Marathon, Dead Sea Marathon. He did 6 marathons in 7 days in the Gobi Desert. And all of that culminated in this big expedition, a race to the South Pole 10 years ago. And he became the first blind man to do that. And then 18 months after that, he was a month away from getting married, and he was in the UK at a regatta and had a tragic fall from a second-story window, which left him paralysed.
Wow, that is quite a remarkable journey. So tell us about how the Mark Pollock Trust came into being and the work which it now undertakes.
Sure. So Mark was in hospital for 16 months after he had the accident, and at the time friends and family came together to see what they could do to help him, and they set up the Mark Pollock Trust. And at the very beginning it was about helping Mark get out of hospital and rebuild his house and get him a van and everything, but very quickly the mission evolved to Mark pursuing his mission to cure paralysis in our lifetime. And a lot of that came about because in the hospital that he was told there was no point hoping for a cure, that it would only be detrimental to his mental health. And so I suppose that's a way for, the medical system of keeping people grounded. But Mark said, well, hold on a second. Why is it that there's no cure for paralysis? And that's how he started down this road of finding a cure. So the work that we do is very much focused on collaboration. So we see one of the biggest problems in terms of scientific research around curing paralysis as being that of fragmentation. So there's amazing world-class scientists all around the world working towards a cure, all of them in their own labs, but they're so busy with their own work that they're not looking up. They're not looking to see what the person in the next university or the next city is doing. And so we really see that as being what our role is and where we can add the most value. So over the years, we've built collaborations between Trinity College in Dublin and UCLA in America. And we've done numerous different kind of collaborative projects where we're bringing different scientists together, maybe with business, with technology, with other foundations like ourselves.
So in a nutshell, you identified a lack of joined up thinking in the area and you're trying to bridge that gap. But how did you first get involved with the Mark Pollock Trust?
So I've known Mark for 10 years. I started out my career in actually radio and TV, Karl. So I used to work on documentaries, and I spent the week before Mark went to the regatta where he had his fall. We were working on this radio project together for the plan was for the summer, going around Ireland, meeting people, pursuing their passion, which is quite apt when I think back about it now, 10 years ago. But so when Mark had the fall, we always stayed in touch. And about 3 years ago, he got in touch with me and said that he was looking for a new CEO to head up the trust, and would I be interested? So I've always admired Mark's resilience and the way we worked on a documentary together called Beyond Limits, and that really sums Mark up. He doesn't let anything stand in his way. So I then said, I'd love to come and work with you. And I've been here now nearly 3 years.
Now, you mentioned a very interesting word there called resilience. Most people, I feel, don't have it. Mark is certainly somebody that does. How does he find that inner resilience to overcome the challenges that he's been faced with?
He is really phenomenal in that way. I think, Mark is lucky that he has a good support network around him, but there's so much I've never seen the internal resilience that he has. I think he's just one of these people that he faces any challenge head on, and he's just willing to give it a go. He talks a lot about his, the willingness to try. So some people are afraid that if they try they'll fail. But Mark just says, give it a go. And if it doesn't work, you try something else. So I think that really helps him and in pursuing the various different passions he's had throughout his life. But I think also he's very mindful that there are a lot of people there out in the world who are paralysed, who don't necessarily have the same support network that he does. So I think he's pushing not only for himself, but for all of those people as well.
And how has Mark and the team at the Trust set about finding the cure for paralysis?
So we're really interested in the therapies that are either available for people to use or as close as possible to being available. So by that I mean we work with exoskeletons, which are readily available now in the market. They're very expensive, mind you, but also there's a couple of other technologies that are still in research labs and university clinics, but are close to being commercially available, so close to being able for someone to buy or a hospital to have. And so we're really focused on that. So we would have started researching a lot of those therapies back when Mark was in hospital. So there's lots of other interesting areas, stem cells and nerve bridging, not to get too technical, but we're really focused on what is nearly ready for people to access, and that's really going to help them. So that's how we do it on the scientific side. The idea of collaboration and working with everybody and getting everyone in the same room and talking to each other is really important to us.
And in recent weeks it was announced that Mark had teamed up with DCU to bring the exoskeleton to Ireland. What can you tell us about this programme, Paula?
Yes, I'm really excited about this programme. So this is an exoskeleton. So how it works is you sit into it and you're strapped in and there's a computer on the back and it allows you to stand and walk. So we are working in collaboration with DCU. We've put an exoskeleton there. We brought an amazing physio who was working in the National Rehabilitation Hospital, and he's there and he's managing the program. And basically it allows people who are paralysed or people who have neurological conditions, who have MS or who've had a stroke, to have the opportunity to stand and walk in an exoskeleton. So we launched it a couple of weeks ago and we've had a phenomenal response. We're actually, at the moment, it's full up, but still, if anyone's interested, they can Google the DCU EXO program and send an email to Ronan, who manages it. Really what I'd love to see in the next number of years is to be able to raise more money to get a second exoskeleton in there so that even more people can access it.
All of this revolutionary work would not be possible without your significant fundraising efforts. I know that your primary fundraiser is the Run in the Dark event, so what can you tell us about Run in the Dark?
Run in the Dark started 9 years ago with a few hundred people running around Trinity College in Dublin. Within 3 years, we'd scaled up to 6,000 people, and now we have 25,000 people in 50 locations around the world, all taking part in a 5 or a 10K run. And you can also walk the 5 kilometre route. And it's huge for us. I mean, 16,000 people are doing it on the island of Ireland, and the rest then we have runs in Australia, America, mainland Europe, and in Asia. So it's, as you say, it's a huge piece of work for us, and it is our only fundraiser. Wouldn't be possible without the support that we get from amazing volunteers all around the world. A lot of the runs are actually managed by what we call city champions, the people who are taking this on to support Mark and to support his mission.
This year, I'm honoured to champion the Run in the Dark event, which is taking place in Wexford on Wednesday, November 13th. But what can participants expect from this event on the night?
Yes, Karl, we're really excited about having a Run in the Dark in Wexford. So the run is going to start and finish on the quays in Wexford, and we'll bring everyone around the scenic sites of Wexford town. There's a 5 kilometre or a 10 kilometre route, and it's starting at 8 p.m. So everyone gets together from around 7:30. Everyone who takes part gets a flashing armband and a neck warmer. We call them a buff, but it's like a bandana, and then refreshments when they get back from their run. But we're really excited now to bring Run in the Dark to Wexford.
And Paula, perhaps you can tell our listeners about how their business can support this event and the relevant registration details.
Sure. We have a lot of people throughout Ireland that take part in Run in the Dark in teams. So some companies like to use it as a way of bringing people together behind a common purpose, or just a nice activity to do outside of work. So you can sign up at runinthedark.org. And the entry fee is €25, and you can sign up, if you want to sign up a running club or a company, you can sign up teams of 5 or more in one go.
And how will the money raised through these events be utilised by the Mark Pollock Trust?
So the Run in the Dark is our economic vehicle. It's how we fund everything that we do, and it allows Mark then to go out into the world, pursue the collaborations that I've mentioned already with universities and foundations and scientists all around the world. Really, none of the work that we do would be possible without Run in the Dark.
And looking further ahead, what does the next stage of finding a cure for paralysis entail, Paula?
I know it sounds like a lofty goal, Carl, doesn't it? Curing paralysis in our lifetime. I mean, we are really excited about one particular technology. It's called electrical stimulation, and it's basically where they put electrodes on the skin of your back and supercharge your nervous system and supercharge the damaged spinal cord. We really see there being positive advances in that in the next 2 years, and ideally that it will be available certainly within the next 2 to 5 years for people to use. So that's hugely exciting. What that is allowing people to do is people who are paralysed from the neck down who've been in trials with this technology are able to feed themselves, they're able to put on their clothes when maybe they couldn't move their hands at all. So it's really exciting.
Well, if you've just tuned in, that was Paula Cunniffe, the CEO of the Mark Pollock Trust, and I'm proud to be championing this event for an organisation that positively transforms people's lives throughout the world.
Southeast Radio's Business Matters with Karl Fitzpatrick.
South